now that we know how to identify composite functions, let's figure out how to use the chain rule. And it really helps to figure out what's the inside, what's the outside function. So what we're going to do for this one, we have 8 plus 7x to the fourth. So the inside function is the 8 plus 7x. The outside function is that fourth power. So when we find this derivative, what we're going to do is the derivative of the outside first. So the derivative equals 4 times, and then we'll keep the inside the same. Notice here, derivative of the outside, but the inside just stays g of x. So the inside, let me see if I can just write that using those colors. So 4 times, actually let me rewrite the entire function. So we have our outer function is to the fourth power, and then the inside function is 8 plus 7x. So when we take this derivative, we bring down the 4 and take away 1 from the exponent, so it becomes a 3. Keep the inside the same. That's what this rule says right here, of g of x, f prime of g of x, so it stayed the same. Then we're going to times it by the derivative of the inside, which is 7. And then 7 times 4 is 28. And that's the main idea. Let's look at this example. And this is actually one of the more difficult examples. So let's rewrite this. This is actually cosine of x to the third power. And let me just use those same colors. So our outer function is to the third power, and our inner function is cosine of x. So when we take this derivative, f prime of x is going to be 3 times cosine of x squared. So all I do is bring down the 3, take away 1. And the derivative of cosine of x is negative sine x. Remember, we're multiplying by that. So negative times a positive is just going to be negative 3. And then I could rewrite that cosine of x squared as cosine squared x. And then we have that sine of x. It probably helps to have those parentheses just so we know that sine's not inside that cosine. And you could arrange that order. The sine can go here and the cosine there. Just depends on the multiple choice. All right, let's do one with e. Easiest derivative is e, but some people get a little mixed up. So the outer function is e, and the inner function is the 1 over x. So when we take the derivative of this one, we're going to have e to the 1 over x times the derivative of 1 over x. Well, what's the derivative of 1 over x? Let me just do that over here. So I'm going to rewrite it by bringing that x to the top as x to the negative 1. And then rewrite it back. So this is going to equal e to the 1 over x times negative 1 over x squared. And remember that e is basically over 1, so we could rewrite this as negative e to the 1 over x squared. And that's the chain rule. And we'll get more practice on this in the next unit, or the next section.